Pope Leo XIV canonized his first two saints on Sunday, Saint Carlo Acutis and Saint Pier Giorgio Frassati. This was an eagerly anticipated moment this year, especially because both of their original canonization dates were postponed. Carlo's mother, Antonia, alongside her husband and two children, were able to proudly witness their son being canonized as the first millennial saint.
Beatus Petrum Georgium Frassati et Carolum Acutis, sanctus esse discernimus et definimus, ac sanctorum Cathologo ascribimus.
Pope Leo XIV greeted them, as well as Frassati's relatives, who were also present. St. Peter's Square filled up with around 70,000 faithful, many of whom queued up at very early hours of the morning or even camped out overnight to get a guaranteed seat for the celebration.
I actually really inspired from Carlo Acutis. That's why I came here from the south of Italy just to see his canonization. And I personally love him and his figure and the importance it has on today's world, because he actually showed that young men can actually be saints.
I'm feeling so incredible and amazing. It was one of the most memorable experiences that I think I've ever had.
And these are two really good saints for this day and age. I think they'll provide great examples for the youth of today.
Before the big day on Sunday, the Eternal City was full of spiritual and cultural preparations for locals and pilgrims. Chicago artist Johnny Verba used his talent and imagination to evangelize through creating a unique artwork compiled of over 1,000 soldier figurines to portray the spiritual warfare Catholics face in everyday life.
So one of my favorite aspects of the piece is really just the general overview, which is all of the culture of death represented by the black, gray, and white figures point their weapons on Jesus at the crucifix. And you see the 163 colored figures, which are represented by every single Eucharistic miracle that Carlo documented, are facing away, evangelizing, going against the culture, and fighting for Christ.
The pieces used to make up the face of Carlo are all carefully and intentionally positioned to depict Carlo's life and the miracles that followed.
And so there's also the first miracle, which is represented by the steak and french fries at the bottom, which is Mateus, who is the Brazilian boy, and of course Valeria, the second miracle, who's in the top right-hand corner, who crashed her bicycle in Florence, and she was miraculously healed.
Later that day, Johnny and many others, including Cardinal Raymond Burke, attended an exclusive showing of the film Carlo Acutis, Roadmap to Reality, which premiered at the Pontifical North American College with a guest appearance from Antonia Acutis, Carlo's mother, who gave a few words on the film and thoughts on her son's life. On the eve of the canonizations of Pier Giorgio and Carlo, Italian Catholic Action organized an evening prayer vigil at the Basilica of St. John the Baptist of the Florentines, focusing on the life of Pier Giorgio Frassati. The evening was filled with prayer, music, and reflection upon the life of the 24-year-old Italian saint.
Particularly been friends with, I would say, most definitely friends with Pier Giorgio Frassati for quite a long time. I consider saints our friends if they lead us closer to Christ, and he's definitely done that for me in more ways than I could probably describe.
Yeah, so this is actually really exciting for me. I mean, there are two people that we can look up to. Obviously, I think a lot of us understand that that's what the whole point of the canonization is, for us to realize that these two people lived heroic lives, like of heroic virtue, and so we get to do that too.
The Catholic Church, now two saints richer, will continue to use the examples of St. Carlo Acutis and St. Pier Giorgio Frassati to show that sainthood is attainable today. With Carlo's love for the Eucharist and Pierre's heart for the poor, they teach us how by keeping close to Christ and loving our neighbors, we can find the pathway to heaven.